Imagine knowing that everything you experience is a reality you are creating. Imagine finally understanding that with the right belief system, you never have to be sick. Imagine never having to worry or have fear about anything because you are in control of it all. What will you do when you find out this is all true and what you have been told to believe is false? It is time to learn the truth. Hello and welcome again to Reality Changer Radio. I'm your host Dave Dickey, and it is Tuesday at 6:09 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I apologize for the late start. We will go longer because of it. Technical difficulties beyond our control. How many times have you seen that on the TV? Tonight I want to talk about some things. I'm going to go off in a couple of different tangents. One of them is about understanding exactly what is and isn't out there. And the other one is going to be a talk about going into the universe. But first off, what I'd like to talk about here is the concept that we're manifesting machines. We are spiritual beings. And again, as I've mentioned before, I'm not a Bible thumper. But after all the years of research I've done into the human condition, I totally am a realist as to what's going on and what's not going on. And what's going on is that we 24/7 manifest and create our reality. Awake and asleep, like it or not, good, bad, or indifferent. And a great way to think about that is sleepwalking. It's a great analogy. It's the middle of the night and you wake up and you go down in the kitchen and you make yourself a sandwich and you get a glass of milk and you drink that and you eat that and you leave half it on the counter and you go back to bed, never the wiser. You wake up in the morning and you find out you did this and you're just shocked. It's as if somebody's setting you up for a prank. But you really did do that, and you're not even close. Not even a clue. So that is exactly what goes on. 24/7, you're manifesting. You're actually doing something. And the trick here is to understand that that is exactly what's going on. And so when you do, you get the reality and you get the notion that everything here is what you created. And for you to violently go out there and protest against things, it's all a distraction because you're looking at the external to change the external. It's like yelling at a painting that you painted because it has the wrong colors. Well, you created that. What are you yelling at it for? If you didn't like the color, you should have painted it with something else. Now, I'm not suggesting that we deliberately create havoc in our lives because our conscious minds would say, why would I do that? I wouldn't do that. Why would I cause trouble for myself? You wouldn't. You would not consciously cause trouble for yourself. But here's the kicker. The conscious mind isn't the one doing the manifesting. It's just answering for it. It's just making up the stories. The subconscious mind is the one doing all the work. It's doing all the heavy lifting. It's kind of like the support crew behind an actor. They're the ones that make the guy famous. He just stands around and collects the money. That's your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is working on doing its job of initiating a set of responses called a programming. And however it's programmed, good, bad, or indifferent, the conscious mind sends that information out there. And it looks at the subconscious. It says, okay, this is what we got, and then boom, goes out there. Just like the conscious mind is your computer terminal and the subconscious mind is your programming. You push a key on the keyboard, it doesn't look to the box that the computer is in. It doesn't even look at the computer. It looks at the programming that's inside the computer and says, okay, what do I do when they press this key? Okay, I'll do that. All right. The human body works basically the same way. It's a human computer. You get electrical impulses and responses through your central nervous system that go up to the brain, tell the body what to do, and so on and so forth, just like a computer. But you can't chastise part of your body for doing what the brain signal told it to do when you do this other thing. You don't want that part of the body to do that, then don't do that other thing. Simple as that. But folks, this is what we do all the time because we are unable to see the relationship between what we have going on in our existence day to day and what we concentrate on day to day. The fact of the matter is, there's been 1 million people that have said it. There's going to be 1 million more that say it. If it didn't have any substance, I certainly wouldn't be dealing with it. You are what you believe you are. And you believe what you are because of your programming. If there's something inside your belief system that says, hey, it's okay for me to have, a decent living, but I could never handle all the problems that come with being rich. Now, if that's in there, and it may be in a lot of people, don't waste your time on a lottery ticket. Please, because you're never going to get it. You're never going to hit the lottery because you don't believe that you can handle that. So what you're doing is you're sending out signals to the universe, telling the universe, look, it would be cool, but I can't really have it. The universe goes, okay, whatever. You won't get it. Now, your conscious mind will go flappity flap and it'll go, oh, lottery, lottery, lottery. And you'll go running off and you go buy tickets and, you tell people, oh, wouldn't it be nice, wouldn't it be nice? And then when you're half drunk and you're with your buddies and you go, yeah, I just don't know, man. I don't know if I could handle the pressure. Well, that's your subconscious coming out. That's the real stuff coming out. And even at that point, you are putting out energy into the universe, reaffirming. And the universe goes, okay, dude, I get the picture. You don't want the money. Okay, fine. You're never going to get the money. Okay? How's that? Now, I break it down into basic lingo. And as I've mentioned on other broadcasts, I don't believe I need to wear a turban and burn incense to give you the same exact message as I'm giving you right now. I believe that you need to hear it in a street sense so that you understand exactly what is going on as quick as possible. And that's my goal. I want you all to understand it as quick as possible and start applying the changes as quick as possible. Because you really need to. If your life is perfect and you get all the money you want and you're happy, and let's put those two together, have all the money you want and you're happy, and you have everything and it's all happening and blah, 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 good for you. Good for you. If I had a room right now, I'd want to see a show of hands as to how many people are living that life right now, and I don't think I'd get too many out of 20. Okay, so you can do it, though. You can have the life that you desire. You just have to desire it more than desiring the opposite. Now, what I mean by that is most people concentrate on how they don't want their lives to be or how miserable they are. or they entertain notions of, well, I could never get that, or, well, if I had another job, I might be able to get that. Well, really what you're doing, guys, here is you're telling the universe, I don't want it. Basically, let's cut out the crap here. You're telling the universe you don't want it. Now, the universe doesn't care why you don't want it. There's no right or wrong. It's just, you want it, you don't want it. You want it, you don't want it. And however that comes across to the universe, bam, you got it or you don't got it. And for most people, you don't got it because of your conditional programming. Okay. One of the things that's not going on that I'm hoping to have go on more and more and more is teaching parents and teaching the youth that you can have it all because you're the one who's manufacturing it all in your head. A lot of these teachers teach us, well, there's abundance. You should never think of lack. People go, okay, that's fine. How is that possible? That's because you're creating it all, Charlie. You have control over the entire painting. You decide the size of the canvas. You decide the type of brushes. You decide all the different paints. Are they going to be watercolor, pastels, oil-based, water-based, whatever? You decide inside your head what it's going to look like and what tools you're going to use to make it. And then you make it. Now, I mentioned that we do it 24/7. And so some people will say to me, well, if we're doing it 24/7, then it must be really easy. How come it's so hard to turn it around? Well, here's the deal. It's really, really easy once your subconscious is programmed for the manifesting to happen. What you think you need to do is manage how the manifesting is happening. You're never going to do that in a billion years because that's a process unto its own. It just does. It's kind of like, do you care more about how the switch on your computer works or whether or not it has glitches and works the way you want it to? Which one do you care more about? How the power switch works or whether or not the computer does what it's supposed to? To me, I don't care how the power switch works. Just flip it on, bam. What I care about is whether or not the computer is acting the way I want it to. That's what I care about. And you need to care about your own computer. And you can't fix anybody else's computer. You can only deal with your own. But you can deal with it 1,000%. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. Because what's been going on constantly is the programming that you need somebody else's help. You need somebody else's things. You need cold medicine. You need an elbow wrap. You need to see a doctor. You need an EKG. You need a coat because it's cold. You need this. You don't need. What you need is everybody to just shut the hell up and mind their own business. That's what you need. Because all of what everyone is doing is twofold. Number one, they're doing exactly what they were supposed to be doing. As spiritual, loving beings, we're supposed to be nurturing each other and guiding each other and helping each other. That's a basic instinct of our spiritual awareness. Unfortunately, in this physical realm that we have chosen to dive down into, we are doing it, for the most part, with the wrong information. We got so wrapped up in our creation of the external, so mesmerized by the reflection of our own projection, that we have forgotten how it got here. It is not a thing. It is what we created. It's not self-sustaining. It's like a robot. We are the creators of that robot. We decide when that robot will walk. We decide if it will talk and what language. It did not create itself. But we as creative spiritual beings got so enamored. You know, in a very real sense, we said, hey, look at how freaking cool we are. Look at what we did. And look at this and this and this and this and this and this. And then for some reason, one day, it was all just about the external. All just about the external. Well, look, you know, if you got issues there, maybe this can open this and this. And then we all started thinking like the external. But then things happen. Things happen, and you wonder why they happen. You wonder why you have dreams that come true, or lucid dreams, or deja vu, or how did I know you were going to call, or the list goes on and on. It's endless. But you get the picture. How does that happen? That happens all the time, and it's those little pieces that we keep forgetting, that we have forgotten, because we get so enamored of the external, that we need to remember is the real source of everything. And I'm going to give you a great example of what I mean by that. There's a lady who is a brain researcher, okay, and I believe her, don't quote me, but I believe she got into it because her brother was schizophrenic, okay? Her name, and you're going to want to write this down to look her up later, her name is Jill Bolte, B-O-L-T-E, Taylor, T-A-Y-L-O-R. And her book is Stroke of Insight. And what she talks about is the paradox of being someone who delves into the brain and is a researcher for the brain. And at the same time, she's home one day and she's slowly experiencing a stroke. And as it slowly creeps up on her, she's recognizing the symptoms that are going on. And it's funny because she said she's on her exercise thing, and all of a sudden she looks down and her hands start to disappear, and things start changing and disappearing into nothingness. And what's going on physiologically is the left side of her brain, which controls all the numbers and all the logical side of it, is shutting down. What's interesting is her appearance is also shutting down. She's noticing that she's disappearing. And what's happening is, instead of just say, for instance, yeah, I'm still on the exercise machine, but I'm not there, everything is disappearing and turning into this like universal black space of silence, where she says she felt nirvana. Now, the minute she starts to mention the nirvana part, she starts to cry. And she starts weeping as she's talking about how much joy she felt being separated, and how nothing else mattered. And this is the dilemma we find ourselves in, because this is our true origin, this is our true nature, and this is our true makeup. However, with the two halves of the brain and her having her stroke, only the right half, the creative half, was dealing with things. And we have a bridge between the two brains where they're supposed to work in sequence to each other. However, I think, might possibly be, and don't quote me on this, this is my opinion. You may have your own, and feel free to share it. My thoughts are that as time went by, we became so enamored of our external creations that we shut down part of that bridge that reminded us of the other side and the fact that that is where we come from. Now, I don't want you to think that I am advocating everyone having a stroke. And I don't want you to think that I'm advocating everyone blowing their mind and going off into the silence because that's where we belong. No. What I am advocating is that everyone understand that's where we come from, and not from a physical standpoint. We are not human beings, we are spiritual beings. And by no way am I suggesting that anyone waste the rest of their physical time here not being involved. Look, you came here for a reason. What I'm suggesting is that you remember where you came from, because that's where you go back when it's over. When the physical shell, this car that we drive around, when it is done, and when we decide spiritually that we are done, we go back to that blackness, that nirvana, only to come right back and do it again. What I'm telling you here is that here's somebody that was able to document moment by moment. And she's talking about how the left brain would kick in every so often and go, hey, you get help, there's a problem, hey, and then she would go right back to Nirvana. And so she had a stack of business cards on her desk, and she's trying to call her office to tell them she needs help. But she can't make out what the business cards say. She said she's looking at these business cards, and they're all pixels. Imagine that. They're pixels. And so she's having to match the squiggly lines on the business card with the squiggly lines on the phone. Imagine. This is coming from a woman who spent 9 years rehabbing. You couldn't even begin to tell that she ever had a stroke when she's talking. And she is pouring her heart out. She's very genuine. She's sobbing when she talks about this feeling of bliss and peacefulness. And my point to all this is to understand that none of this really exists without you creating it. I mean, if you were able to, and which is what I want you all to be able to do eventually, is be able to turn it on and off like a light switch. See things disappear into the void so that you can, on your own volition, go back and forth. Go back to where you came from, understanding that you're here in the physical plane at the same time, doing something that you decided you wanted to do before you came here. And so you have an obligation to finish out what you decided you wanted to start before you came here. But the only way that you're going to be able to successfully do that is to remember where you come from, be able to access that at any time, and never forget that it's all an illusion that you created. And I tell people time and time again, look, here's a great example. Gandhi got independence from Britain for India, and he never fired a shot. Mother Teresa used to say, don't invite me to a war rally, but if you want to invite me to a peace rally, I'm there. I don't want to go to an anti-war rally. I don't want to think about the negative aspect. Invite me to a peace rally. And that's where all this stuff comes from. You want to change the world? You want a better life for yourself and your family? And you got to stop doing what they told you have to do in order to change it. Because that does not work. It's like telling the robot to not be a robot. It doesn't work that way. You have to physically go and unassemble the robot and make a ham sandwich out of it. It's you, the creator. All that ever was and ever will be. You are the creator of everything that goes down here. And you cannot go to the external like they keep telling you to. You have to go inside. And for every single person that changes their life from the inside out and is happier and more positive and more productive and more of a manifesting mode where nothing is impossible, because nothing really is, because we're so great. For every single person that is that way on this planet, there is one less person destroying the physical in a way that nobody wants them to. But reaching out there, going to demonstrations, doing all this other stuff, look, you want to do that, fine. But don't do it with the understanding that this is how you get things done. Because that's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that you have to attend rallies and you have to speak up in front of Congress and you have to do all this stuff on the external in order to get people to listen to you, in order to get things done, in order to not have this, that, and the other. And it's all crap. And it's the same crap that you've been given since you were a kid. Put the coat on or you're going to get cold. Make sure that you live near a pharmacy just in case you need something. What? Something what? You need something? Oh, I thought you were perfect. What the hell do you need? Nothing. You're working off of somebody else's fears, somebody else's liabilities, somebody else's limitations, and you're being told that's how the way the world works. So when you look at the external, when you look at this painting and you don't like the colors, you yell at the painting. And you demand that the painting changes. What I'm telling you is you have to pick up a brush, dip it in the paint, and paint over the painting. That's the only way it's going to happen. And again, you don't like the way the colors look? You shouldn't have painted it that way. Sometimes, you got to use tough love. Well, here's some tough love for everybody. Stop creating crap. Stop it. That's all you're doing is you're creating crap. And you're creating crap that you're going to unload on somebody else. And you're going to say, hey, it's better crap than what I was given. Well, big deal. It's still crap. And it's all crap. And it's all going to be crap until you wake up and smell the coffee about the fact that it doesn't exist unless you give it your attention. It doesn't exist unless it is the biggest thing you desire in your life. Even if you don't know you desire it. Again, I go back to the guy sleepwalking who goes downstairs and makes the sandwich. He thinks you're lying. He goes, I never got out of bed. There's proof everywhere. If you were to film him, he'd go, damn, I didn't even know I did that. That's how manifesting works. We're all like little kids with a loaded gun, not really sure what happens when you pull the trigger. I'm telling you, you don't want to pull that trigger until you look inside the chamber and see which bullets do you have. Are they all lead? Or are some hollow points? Some are going to be more powerful than the others. Hopefully, eventually, you're going to get the silver bullets. But keep in mind that you are responsible for your own reality. Nobody else is. Because you created the whole mess. And you can change it. You can change it. Come to one of my workshops. Come to my classes. There's a numerous amount of people out there that are teaching the same thing. Bob Proctor, Esther Hicks, the list goes on and on. But don't get fooled. Like I said in my last broadcast, it's all soda water. Don't get fooled by the people that would benefit the most by you not remembering where you come from and how powerful you really are. Because there's a whole lot of people out there that would benefit by you screaming at that painting to change its color instead of you grabbing a paintbrush and dipping it in the paint. There's a whole lot of people out there. You deserve to live the majestic life that you were born with. You deserve that. And you know, every time that you get annoyed, every time that you feel depressed, every time that you look around and just sigh, you know that you deserve better. And that is your spirit coming out, telling you, dude, you deserve better. What are you doing? Your free will. You can listen and change, or you can listen and stay the same. It just depends on which avenue you want to listen to. But don't forget, whatever you're doing right now, and you're not happy about it, if you're doing the same thing in a year, 2 years, 3 years, you think you're going to be happy? You think anything's going to really change for the better? No, it's not. So, 2 main things you want to take away from this broadcast. None of it really exists unless you give it attention and decide that you want to see it in the physical plane. And number 2, there is another side of us where we come from that we need to re-explore and be able to grab like a switch. Like I said, a switch, turn it on and off. Watch everything disappear as we turn it off. And then come back to the physical where we have made this commitment to do something here, whatever that was, until we're ready to leave again. Okay? So, we're getting close to the end here. And before I go, I want to mention a couple of places that I'm going to be at this week. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night, at 6:30, I'm going to be at the Everyday Zen Relaxation Studio in Long Beach, California. We're starting up our usual 101 Law of Attraction classes. Tomorrow night is part 1 of 3 parts. It's 3 different Wednesdays in a row. And then at the end of the month, we do an advanced manifesting class, and that's always fun because I go through and teach people how to speed up and slow down time and do some other cool stuff. And Thursday, we start up those same classes in Fullerton at the Owl's Lantern, I'm sorry about that, Sue, if you're listening, the Owl's Lantern in Fullerton. And we're going to be doing that same thing. We're going to be doing the 3 different Thursdays as opposed to Wednesdays. And Thursday night is the first class for those. So if you can't make it to Long Beach on Wednesday, be sure to join us on Thursday in Fullerton. And for more information, you can go to my website, whatyouThinkIsWhatYouGet.com, and click on the classes page. There's even a discount page that you'll find down at the bottom. There's a discount link for the Owl's Lantern. So do that. Show up. Say hi on Facebook. Give me a call. Do whatever. Don't forget, I'll answer your questions online. Write this number down, 424-244-0379. That is the direct line to the radio station. And be patient. It rings about 10 times, and I really can't do anything about that. But it does ring about 10 times. But the magic thing is it actually answers after that. And you're able to give your name and whatever questions you might have, and I'll answer them right here on the air. And if you want to call back, make sure you put that in there too, and I'll be more than happy to give you a call back. Okay? So we're going to wrap it up for tonight. I hope that everybody understands the 2 basic things that I wanted to get across tonight is that it only exists if you want it to exist. If you truly desire for it to exist, no matter what the reason that is. And there is the other side of the coin. There is the vast expanse of total silence and bliss and nirvana, which is where we came from and where we go when we die. People want to use all these fancy words so they don't hurt anybody's feelings, but we die. Gone, Zippo. It's over, Charlie. Okay? You won't find me using fancy words to not hurt anybody's feelings, because that's another fallacy. Okay? So, until next time, everybody have a fantastic week. I hope that you manifest the crap out of it and come one step closer to living the life you deserve. And until then, my reality is not your reality. What are you creating today? See you next time. All right, well, that's it for today's show, folks. I hope you enjoyed it and are a little closer to living life on your terms. Join me next week, won't you, for another mind-blowing show about the truth of reality. Until then, my reality is not your reality. What are you creating today?